Oh, hey, how goes it? It's Friday. Oh, I got so much I want to try to do today. There's no way I'm going to get it all done. It's going to be a busy day. I have to do my door dashing, but I'm only doing 2 hours today because that's all I could schedule, and probably a good thing because don't want to do more. But so the plan today. Oh yeah, be right back. Give me 1 minute, 2 minutes. Okay. My wife had to leave quick today and didn't have a chance to feed our dogs. So I told her, yeah, I'll do it. Just remind me, just in case I forget. And guess what I did? I forgot, and I saw her reminder. So I went upstairs and took care of that. So that's that's dealt with. Okay, so anyway, the plan for today is to get a little bit of UI done for the morning, and then the afternoon I'll probably get back to doing some more Go stuff, which is the back end stuff. So the UI I want to work on is the oh yeah. So I was going to check this in. Hold on a sec. Did I do that? No, I did not. Commit, staged, and push. And then so I want to merge these guys up. You know, I can't remember. I can't. Fetch, pull, push, sync, pull down, push, new request, reset, unset, rename, fetch, pull, push, sync. Huh. Shouldn't be doing much, but I'm trying to figure out. Oh, there we go, merge. All right, so I want to merge into basic output formatting, origin. Wait, what? How will that change 0 files? That shouldn't happen. How will that change 0 files? If I'm merging it into master, master merge into, I want to merge into master. That's weird. That shouldn't work. Well, I do want to create a new local branch. I've always hated. All right. It's funny because if I merge into origin, which is this guy, and then merge this into master, I don't understand how it's going to change 0 files. Oh, here we go. Still not right. So I don't know what's going on. So even if I do it locally, it doesn't do anything. It says it's not going to do anything. I don't know how that's even possible. Huh. So if I checked in and I pushed, I don't understand why it's why it's not showing any changes. So they're basically saying that my master is identical to my merge origin master. What if I do that? How are these not different? Okay, so there's definitely some differences. I'm not sure why it's showing me no changes when I want to merge them. All right, maybe I'm doing something wrong. But it says there's no changes, but yet when I go compare the two, they're different. So it's like why I can compare origin, I can compare master, but then when I try to merge to master, it's not going to affect anything. And then I try to merge into master, and it says the merge will change 0 files, even if I do it on the remote. That sounds wrong. Let's go to my GitHub. Let's go look at my GitHub. Actually, let's just ask this. Okay, so what's the question? Okay, so when I go to merge my branch in GitHub, to the master says 0 changes. However, when I compare master to my branch, it shows a bunch of changes. A bunch of differences. Merge already done. Check if the changes in your branch have already been merged into the master branch. If they have, there won't be any. Well, I know that. Branch up to date. Verify that your branch is up to date with the new master branch. If your branch is behind the master branch, you might need to pull the latest changes from master and then merge again. Is there even any changes here? Yeah, it's gotta get up. Football, stage 2, basic output format, compare, and pull request. Maybe because I haven't done this. I mean, I guess it's good, but there should be a whole bunch of stuff here. These branches can be automatically merged. What are the changes, though? Commits on December 3rd, December 20th. All right. Merge pull request. And we will delete this branch. Pull request successfully merged and closed. You're all set. Yes, we'll delete the branch. I don't like having a bunch of junk branches. So, all right. Now, I need to create a new branch. I'm going to call this Go Microservices Integration. Based on master. Actually, let's say based on that master. Because I don't think I have my local master pulled and updated. I mean, I'm pretty sure I don't. Oh, whoops. All right, so let's try that again. Did I create that branch? Nope, okay. Yeah, branch name. Integrate. Go. Micro services integration based on master. Okay. All right, and initial get statement successfully integrated. Permission denied. What? Why am I getting permission denied? Do I have an output log? JavaScript has exited. Nope, 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 nope. Error list. Nope. Always something, you know. There's always something. All right, so what? I probably got a local file that's complaining, but I'm trying to figure out what the error log is. I think it said before. I think I tried this before. So if I go commit all and sync. And oh, by the way, I was doing some basic planning for my overall development here, and I went ahead and installed Unity. So now I've got that on my system, and I was looking at the project, kind of walking through that that setup. So that next time I'm able to start working on that, it'll be ready to go. So I've got a lot of my technology stack. I'm finding is actually quite extensive. I've got Unity. I mean, just the whole of the technology stack, of the whole development process, because like the actual app is going to use Unity on the front end, React on the web front end. It's going to use Go. It's going to use Couchbase, Mongo database. It's going to use and that's just the applications that it's integrating. Not to mention all the little minutia of the extensions that Go is using and even Visual Studio is using in order to manipulate and get things to function. Then on top of it, I've got GitHub, Docker, what do you call it? The Unity engine, Visual Studio Code. I've got what is it? Oh, I have to do something with ng-rock. Not to mention, I'm going to be implementing a lot of paradigms, just, the structures of how things are going to function, continuous integration, continuous delivery, testing, all kinds of bits and bobs, and all of them have to be installed and set up. I mean, not everything just, you don't just go on to the next thing. There is a setup time for each thing, you know, and getting it going. And it's not until you actually start gluing pieces together and making them work. So there's like the whole setup of my development versus my CI/CD and creating a publicly accessible test environment. That's like its own application. I mean, you got a lot of parts, all got to get set up. Yes, it's not as I won't say not as complex. I mean, it's probably not as complex, but it's not as lengthy. But there's a lot of parts involved in getting all of the various components integrated, or working together. And so that's going to be its own process, its own ball of wax. I gotta update my text, my description here. All right, so that's better. All right. Anyway, so yeah, I was trying to get various things installed and doing more, brainstorming with my pals, AI, ChatGPT and Copilot and whatever other artificial life form, artificial intelligence that I could get my my grubby paws on to try to get some feedback on, what's a good common process for these kind of things, and to see if some of the thoughts I had in my mind were even possible. And to my delight, yeah, everything I want to do is possible. It's just a matter of getting it done. This is about as full stack as it gets, man. I was trying to determine, I may even connect my GitHub to my Azure DevOps. So I'm using Azure DevOps for my project tasks because I don't like ClickUp. I mean, ClickUp's fine for daily planning, but it's kind of wonky in the way it does things, and it's just like I don't like its integrations. It doesn't update things on the fly. When you're trying to add and remove tasks, they kind of vanish and disappear kind of erratically. It's just, I don't know, it feels clunky. And I've checked out a couple of others that didn't even have what ClickUp did, and it's like, I think I'm going to stick with my project management within Azure DevOps, at least for now. I don't know. ClickUp's got potential, but there's just a lot of stuff about it that throws me off. I didn't like that. I don't like the way you update stuff in there, and yeah, it's weird. Okay, so I think I've got that set up. The question I had, I was gonna actually go see why this won't. Let's go create a new one. Execute of the VS folder due to permission issues. VS folder is typically issued by Visual Studio to store temporary favorites. Usually relevant to version control. Here's how you can address the issue. Oh, so I need to, like, it's the VS file, exclude, that's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. I remember that now. So where is, which one of these is the VS file? Is it this thing? Nope, that's .suo. Which file is it complaining about? You know, I really only need these. I don't even know what file content index. It's not VS. Git commit, restore any changes. If the .vs folder has already been staged, commit, reset, or remove it. Check for locked files. If the issue persists, the file might be locked by another process, e.g. Visual Studio or an antivirus. Close an application. Verify with git status. After resolving the issue, check the status of your repository to ensure that there are no remaining conflicts. Oops. Why does that first letter not work when I do that? Oh, there is a VS. All right, so add the following line, save the file, and update Git. So what? I have to go to my Git ignore, which I don't know where that is. It must be. Why can't I see my Git ignore file? Can I go here? Yeah, there it is. Add. Add the following line. Open or create a git ignore file in the root of your repository. Add the following line. And we will try again. Aha! Done and done. Just keep that little turd bucket .vs out of my code. All right. All right, so we're going to try it now we can move on to actually trying to start implementing some GamePlan values. Okay, so I do have this functioning. I don't believe I've stopped GitHub, so I could actually, I'm on my Go services. I don't think I want to call it this way. I want it to auto load, which I don't think is a huge issue. I'll probably just run it. Because right now what it's doing is I have this, I don't have a use effect firing for it, so I'm using a button that just says call PFFM gateway, which is running the function. This is straight up. And then we're dumping out whatever I have. I think what I want to do is just have a use effect that on load will fire that, and then we need to format it as we're coming in. Let's put you. Let's put you over here, and then we'll go down here and I'm guessing I'm missing some formatty stuff. Oh, yep. That's the problem. And then this guy is going to close and be that. Okay. And really, I'm not doing much. I'm just going to call. Oh, yeah, I need to put, oops. I need to put my bracket here. It didn't even occur to me that that's not an empty use effect anymore. I thought it was still an empty use effect. Silly me, man. I think I was doing that without. All right. And we're just gonna call this call PFFM gateway. Do I need anything at all for this? Apparently not. Okay. Call it once, and then we output it, right? Oh. What is this? I don't even remember this. Try results dot length. Try results current. Okay, wait. Something's amiss. Something's amiss. I've got the wrong code. This is not my code. This is bad. This is very bad. All right, let's Suck, what the heck? I'm very concerned about where I'm at here. So this is totally wrong. This is like ancient code. Totally ancient code. Like from way back when. God, I hate the way things. Fetch, pull from. Alright, I gotta go back here to go look at my GitHub. I don't know why, because I merged my code into master, but now it's showing that even though I thought I created this from master, it totally does not look like master at all. Yeah, it's like I don't even have my coach folder here. This is totally not right. What the heck, man? Alright, so let's go to master. And then we're going to go look at source. And we have our app. Okay, so everything's there. We've got all of our parts Or do we? Oh, no, I have... oh, that's right, because I did not check in GamePlan and such yet. Let's go back to this guy. Yes, football sim. Right, I'm gonna switch. All right, so I want this one, man. What is going on, man? It's totally not the right code. And it's like, I don't understand why I'm getting such a weird... Why am I not getting... Okay. Okay, so that's got the right stuff. And I checked in. Oh, this is a pain. Okay. So okay, so this has the game plan and page.jsx. This has okay, but this is on the wrong code. I don't even know how I got this. It's like somehow I got out of sync. I don't know how that happened. I don't know what happened, but it's like synced to the old code, even though I created a new branch based on what I thought was the new code. I don't know, man. I did it from Origin. Origin should have been the right one, but this is the right code here. And now I need to get these two files and put them into this application. God, what a pain in the rear. And I gotta delete this. Oh. Alright, so I don't even know how to do this. Copy. This is stupid. Because I checked it in and created a new branch from the master, which should, after I merged, I should have had all this code. I don't know what the heck happened here. And then it went to like the old code, which doesn't even, it should be over. I tell you, source control is a pain in the rear, man. I'm just saying, source code. I mean, they're all bad. I don't like any of them. They're all pain in the rear. All right, so now I got to create a whole new file because that whole branch is going to be garbage because it's got mixed of stuff. I don't know what that is. That whole branch is garbage. So I got to add a new new item. We're going to call it GamePlan, I guess. GamePlan.jsx. Add. Put this in there. Control S it to save it. And then we're going to go here. Luckily it's only 2 files. It was supposed to be the starting point of this thing. Here, page.js. I'm glad I got it checked in, even, because that would have sucked. That, I mean, it's not a huge deal. I would to have rewritten it, but all right. So now I got to delete this dumb branch. I don't even know if can I get Man, this is such a pain in the tush. So if I go I want to create a new branch. So which master are we looking at here? That's the local master. Okay, so we're going to go create a new branch based on, we're going to call it something else, I guess. Go micro integration. Init integration. Bring the changes. Yes. All right, so now we have this, and now we're going to go ahead and check it in. Initial get implementation from Go microservices GamePlan. Okay, now I got to delete this branch, which is garbage, and hopefully the new branch is correct. Where's the delete branch option here? Nope, don't add file. Well, apparently you can't just delete the branch. I don't know where the heck it is. There's not. Is there a setting here? Branches. No. There's settings. I really got to figure out my way around Git, apparently. Code. All right. What is this? I don't want to do that. Compare. Okay, so this one has to go. I just want to delete this branch. How do I? And everything related to it. What if I... Is there a way to like cancel this, roll it back? Something. Drop paste. God grief, man. This is silly. Can't automatically. I don't want to automatically merge. I just want to delete this. All right, well, there's got to be a way. I mean, I would think there's a way to dump this branch, but all right, let's go ask my buddies. It's not really what I want to be wasting my time on here for the next hour before I have to leave. But I do need to make sure everything is copacetic here. So go up here. How do I delete a branch in GitHub that has invalid set changes? Delete the branch locally. If the branch exists locally and you no longer need it, delete it from your local repository. Delete the branch. If the branch has unmerged changes you still want to delete it, force delete. Delete the branch on GitHub. To delete the branch on GitHub, you either use the GitHub web interface, the command line. Using GitHub command line, push a delete request to the remote repository. Go to the repository in GitHub, click on the Branches tab, or navigate to the code page. Click on the Branches link, locate the branch you want to delete. Click the trash icon. I didn't see no trash icon. All right, so we're going to go to code. And then we're going to do this one. And where is the trash icon? Don't see trash icon. Unwatch, star, fork, insight, security projects, pull request, actions? Nope. Those are like objects. Go microservices integration. And garbage. Trash icon. There is no trash icon. Okay, well, Well, let's see. Maybe I need to first delete it locally. So let's go to GitHub, and we're going to go here, and we're going to say Manage Branches. And we're going to go this guy, and we're just going to say Delete. Now we're going to, well, maybe I could just do it from here. Go here, just say Delete. There we go. So that should just be refreshable, right? Maybe. Oh, because I was on the wrong, I was on an invalid page at that point. No, that might not work either because I think I went to the same one. There we go. And go back to code. Hey. Can that be a bigger pain in the backside? Yes, it probably can be. So let's not tempt it. All right, so we're back on track. We should have all of our stuff now checked in. It's ready to go. We're ready to continue working on this new branch. Keeping my... Because ultimately what I want to do is I want the master branch, when I do check in something to the master branch, I want that to trigger, like a pull request, going to trigger a CI/CD, which is going to deploy whatever I put there into my pseudo production environment, which hopefully will be set up for people to hit and access and do whatever they need to do. So that's the objective here. So I need to make sure that I'm able to check in things after I, do my pull request, just have things kind of start firing. So I need to get into this rhythm of having all of my parts in place. So now I should now have a fully functional game results. And game results is probably a terrible name for this. I mean, it could be game result, whatever, but this is the simulator. I mean, really, this is the page that simulates everything. I could probably just change this name to simulator. And the page.jsx would instantiate the in simulator, which is going to fire it, or game simulator, or whatever I want to call it. But game result, probably not it. I mean, whatever. But I'm second guessing the whole having a components folder thing. I can understand having a common components or a shared components, but I feel like creating a components folder, I would end up with one folder with a boat ton of stuff that would just be hard to manage. I mean, the other option is to have like have my simulator or all of my individual folders have their own component folder, so that like maybe you have your UI object and then your component objects, which could work as well, because you don't necessarily call those components. I don't know. I mean, it's tomato. I mean, it's all about trying to be keeping your code in a way that it's organized and easy to research. But I just feel like a singular component folder is going to get massive, and all of my little subfolders are going to be like not. It's just going to be weird. Much in the same way that you might like separate JSX from JS files. I do have another application yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. I can always refactor, move stuff around. Let's go ahead and work on this page. All right, so we're going to go over here to my GamePlan page, which should now be able to fetch stuff. Now, I've even thought about pulling this out and not having that here, because I'd like to have kind of all of my data processes not on my UI processes. And this is a data process. It's going to go get stuff. It's going to get a response and blah, blah, blah. So I feel like that should probably be not here. So, because this should just be handling that data, read the data, get the data, do the data, do stuff with the data, but don't go fetch the data. That's not the job of any of my UI components. And this is not going to be good because I need to pull that off the header, but I'm not logged in yet, so nobody's logged in. So what I might have to do is dummy it up, like whatever app, whatever page is being called. Ultimately, what I'll probably have to do is have the user ID in the token, and then I can just read the token. And yeah, that's probably better. I'll read the token, pull the user ID from the token, and pass that through to the game plan to get the game plan information. And building all of the paths and other things along the way. So it's kind of interesting though that all this stuff goes through the API path. That could just be, yeah. Anyway, I feel like it's a lot of layers. I might have to fix that too. So I want to go. I got to get this nomenclature lined up though, because I don't want to be refactoring everything. So what's a good common strategy here? I know I'm not the only one who does this, but see, they do components separate. Although they do common, layout, UI, pages, services, API, utils, hooks, styles, index. See, they don't really have a data layer though. Well, this folder contains all your UI components. Commonly used components such as buttons or input fields. Layout components like headers, footers, navigation bars. UI, specific UI component for your application. No, I'm using app routing though, so I wouldn't use it there. But pages, Next.js uses the folder to find the routes of your application. Okay, it is. Each file in this folder corresponds to a route. Services, the folder is for data fetch services. Okay, API, the folder is for data fetch services / API. Creates files for different endpoints or entities. Each file contains functions for get, post, etc. So it is services. Okay, util functions and helpers that can use throughout the application. Hooks, custom React hooks for logic that needs to be reused across components. Style sheets and styling related files. All right, so let's build my structure up here a little bit so that it's a little bit more, I don't know, common. We're going to find out what happens when you totally move things around, but I'm going to rebuild this because it's still at a state where it's young enough in the process, or it's better to get it built the way you want it now. And I just don't want my components folder to get, out of whack or all discombobulated. Now they have it set up as common layout, but still, common is things that can be used across components. Commonly used components such as buttons or input fields, layout, UI. Now these pages, now I can understand that my folders and the pages within are going to be specific to the route, so maybe I don't put those in there. But I feel like, let's see here. What if I have components that are used by only one page? Perhaps storing functions used by a page, or dynamic chunks rendered data. Should I still put that in a separate and components folder? Once they're only used by a specific page, it can be beneficial to organize them within that page's directory. Aha, see? That's what I was working on. Pages, page name, index, page specific component. Okay, so yeah, I'm kind of on the right plan then. Okay, so I am kind of, again, I'm trying to just make sure I'm kind of going standard-y here. And this is, again, it's not using index.js. You know, index and page are the same. I mean, you do not want an index and a page.jsx in the same folder because it will confuse things. But it obviously doesn't know that because it thinks I'm using, it just assumes I'm still using index.jsx. So, I don't know. It don't matter. I mean, really, can I talk today? Really, it's going to be kind of rare that I would ever use index at all, JSX or JS. It's like, okay, whatever, man. Here's the exact same example with the word page.jsx instead. It's like, hey, man, whatever works for you. Just get the point, don't you? I'm like, no, write it the correct way. You know, look, man, we got to get our team synergy going. Me and my AI pals have to be on the same page for all things. I wish I could just tell, look, any question I ask you for the next 2 years is in a Next.js, page.js application, or a Go microservice, or whatever. So don't give me other versions. I don't want you to tell me how to do my Go stuff in C# or Python or anything, because I'm doing Go. I'm not using Python. I'm not using C#. And I just want to just know what my apps are. In fact, remember all the files I tell you about so that when I ask questions, you can just do it rather than me having to pass that to you every day. Because I really do. When I ask a question, I have to give it all the stuff new because it doesn't remember from the day to day. I'd like it to just reference the previous stuff. It'd be nice to have the AI be something you can like set up. This is my application, and then I can ask questions about my app, like referencing my PFFM app, blah, blah, blah. And then it can just go back and look at the files it needs to look at to know what it needs. Maybe we'll get there someday where you can actually do something like that. You can like tell AI, this is what I'm working on. You remember, I gave you all the info. It's probably risky, because you're putting that stuff up on the internet, and whoever owns the AI would go, ooh, look at this cool app. I've got this thing, man. I'm going to deploy it myself, make some money. And then you'd be like, hey, this guy deployed my app, man. How did they know about it? They own the AI that helped build it. They did that? That's no nice. That's messed up, man. Yeah. So it's probably a good idea I don't put all my code up online. Because I wouldn't. I mean, ultimately, I can't have all my stuff up. A lot of what I've done already. I mean, there's things I've already done that just haven't been online yet. Probably won't be. Okay, 10:12 already, and I have not put down a single line of new code because I've been rinka-dinking. All right, so my page-specific component, I'm on the right line. I'm doing it the way it should be done. Yes, there's components, but they should be common. I can understand that they're splitting some up for layout, but that's stuff that you're going to use. Like for me, it would be like the nav bar. It's perfect. It's shared. It's a common thing. You know, that's all well and good. I don't have a lot of common stuff. I don't think I have a lot of common stuff between. There may be, well, maybe there'll be some pages at some point where I have like the player page and I have my simulation page, which might display a player object. Does that make the player now he's a common object? I don't know. I would think it does kind of make him common at that point, right? But I got some cool ideas, and I'm really looking forward to getting those in place. That's just why I keep kind of going left and right, go back and forth between two things, because it's like, oh, let's get this in place so that I can do this. But then I go, oh, I got to get this in place to make this work, and then I got to get this in place to make that work, and then. But it's like each thing is just check off, one thing after another. All right, so let's go ahead and see if I can start reading and rendering this thing. So what I'm going to need to do, it didn't really tell me the best way to break off my data chunks. I guess a services folder. Let's do that. I think I can use that. So in my source, I think the app, I'm trying to decide, should my data folder be inside of the app? Because it's technically not it's not technically, I mean, they put it all in the same place, source, pages, because the pages are in line with the services. Services, oh, because they're sorting the pages out separately. Pages, page name, but I don't have that structure, so. So in theory, services are not inside the pages, it's outside. It would be in line with the app. So, all right, we'll do that. We're going to go add new folder, or we'll call it new item. And we're going to go, let's see, services. We're going to go /. So I'm not creating an API because I don't really think I have a lot of stuff right now, but I am going to be reading from it. Data. Do I want to call it data? Because if I call it data, I may have to create another folder because I'm going to have to call one. I want the functions individually, or at least the GamePlan functions all together in one, or I can just go, that function gets this data, this function gets that data. Or puts, we've got a push and a put. I want them all in the same file. I don't want to create a get and a push and a files for everything. I mean, that's a little much, but I'm going to call it call PFFM gateway is way too generic because that's not what it's going to be. It's going to go. I'm going to call it GamePlan. Yeah, sure. GamePlan data. Okay. Do you want to proceed? Yes, that's why I said create it. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to go and go back to my app GamePlan. We're going to take this function out. It's their birthday. I don't even know who that is. So what I'm going to have to do is rewrite this so that it returns the response so that I don't need to have sim response data contains the game plan. So I'm going to have to take this out because I'm not going to be able to use this. And this will have to be an await. So we're going to say like await no, set response equals await. Let's see. Get. I always want to call it fetch. What's better? Fetching data? I don't know. Let's call it fetch game plan. Fetch game plan. And then, do I need anything from this user? Yes, I would need the user ID. User ID. Let's just call it user ID. Active. User. We'll do like this. Constant, because I don't actually have me reading it off the equals user 1 2 3. You know, ultimately, if I really wanted this to be smart enough, I don't even need to tell it the user. I mean, my data can get the user. The data method knows that it needs to base this off a user, so just grab the user. I mean, it's not like it can't function in the same way. I don't see any reason why it can't just read it off the token as well. So that said, I don't even think I need to pass in a user ID. I could just say fetch game plan, because the system's going to know it needs to have the user. And it would be silly for me to have to read it everywhere when the data that knows how to get it could just read it from wherever it's reading it from, the token or the AI or whatever. I don't feel like I need. It's not like the user is going to provide it. It's just going to be already logged in. They're already going to have this stuff. I think I'm just going to do this. And then we're going to do constant. I'm going to basically steal this data and take it to a and this is going to be, we're going to call it active user equals, I know I'm kind of repeating what I just wrote for user 1 2 3, but I'm actually putting it all together so I can copy it and paste it. And then we're going to call this fetch game plan. Now we're going to take this whole bit, return res.data. go like reset any previous error. Reset any previous error. Clear any previous response. Kind of weird. Just in case it had been changed at some point. I don't know if I need that, to be honest. because of all the wonderful things it does. Yeah, I don't see any reason why I need this. That seems kind of interesting. Why would these have been even there? Well, if it errors, all right, it's time for me to move this off. All right, now we're going to go over to my new data folder here. Services, data, GamePlan data. And I believe it's going to be written a little bit like I did it with offensive play. Oh, is this supposed to be a function? Do I need to write that as a function? I think I do. Why is it just bad? Is it just bad syntax? Maybe. Okay, so it doesn't like something about this page. So we got this, which goes to this, which goes to this. Oh, I wonder if I need to do, actually, do I? Because I haven't actually written a page separately like this outside of, I'm not sure why it's any different from this though. Oh, but I will need the Axios import. I don't need this though. And I don't know why this is not looking right. And I do need to import. I believe, how did I import it with game result? So I'm calling the constant that is the run special teams play. I might not be able to, I might want to do this as a function, but I'm trying to figure out why it's not first compiling. So, I mean, it's just not even doing anything. It's like it's not even acknowledging that I did anything, but Nope, this doesn't. Wait, this doesn't have to import anything. What am I doing? This has to import it. And it's not coach. It's going to be game and data. We're going to do that from. So we're not going to go from there to there. We're going to go from there to there to there to services to data to GamePlan data, which is totally not working. Oh, why did it do that? Putting in quotes, thinking it's all smart. Okay. Get this thing out of here. All right, so we've got our game plan data now calling my fetch, but for some reason this guy is not acting right. So maybe my services can't be out the source folder. So I can look at it and go, dude, you got so much wrong with that file. Oh, wait, whoops, I don't need that. I know that these guys don't even have a function here. I think it's interesting how AI will often tell you, you got it pretty good, but there's this. It's kind of like, that's exactly right, except you got this little thing, and this little thing, and that little thing, and I'm like, so it wasn't right. Yeah, but it was close. I mean, you were in the general ballpark. Okay, I do have one problem. I need to export this puppy. Export. Still don't understand why this is not. Constant, yeah. Try catch const res await axios. Headers. What did it say? Yes, prettier setup. Oh, well, yeah. Not sure why my oops. Oops. What was that again? Nope. What the heck? Oh, that's right. I don't have Prettier installed on this. I'm like, oh yeah, let's trigger my Prettier, but that's not here. I don't have it in Visual Studio. I probably could install it. I just don't have it. But that said, these guys can all be pushed back. I don't understand. Something is up with this file. It's not being recognized as an actual file. Ensure that the function fetch GamePlan is properly closed with. Did I not do that? Oh, nope. I guess I didn't. Still not being recognized. I don't know what's going on here. Why are you being a turd? I don't know what is going on. It doesn't like my file. It says, oh, because my file is not named correctly. Duh. .jsx. It could be just .js because I'm not putting any rendering in it. So the rule I like to go by is if you're not rendering anything, it's .js. Because there's no UI elements to it. It should you call it JS. If you're using UI elements, I put JSX on it. Look, all of a sudden it did what it's supposed to. Well, actually, that's not it. This is it. But it still says what it's supposed to. Okay. So yeah, we're mostly there. So now we can go to GamePlan. And I should probably try to get Prettier installed on this. I do like Prettier. It's so much prettier when you use it. That's why it's called Prettier. All right, so we got GamePlan. Control S, and then we're gonna go GamePlan. Now that is an await, right? It is. It's an async. So we got fetch GamePlan, import Axios. So I have my import wrong. So I have a constant import GamePlan data. Oh, okay. So I should probably just call this fetch GamePlan. Fetch GamePlan. Just so that it matches. There we go. Still doesn't answer the situation why my await's not working though. Am I not returning stuff on all counts here? No, I'm probably not. So I should say something like return error. I may need to tell this what to return. I think I am missing the fact that this is returning a response. And do I put it in here? Or do I put it here? Actually, I don't, because play call, or the offensive play doesn't do that. Because it tells you what it takes, but it doesn't tell you. It tells you what it takes, but it doesn't tell you what it's going to return. And then down here, it just returns. play info. So yeah, I don't need anything. Offense play. I should call this offensive play. Why don't I offense play? That's such a wonky name. It's okay. It's going to change. This whole engine right here is just the demo almost. I mean, there's some stuff that's going to carry over, but in the long term, a lot of all of this stuff here going away, because that's going to have no relevance at all. This is just the randomizations for the POC. Eventually, we're going to have actual data being generated by players moving on a field. Now, that's going to have to, I'm going to have to align how the players are moving on the field to the number of yards that they've got, because I want it to actually, I want there to be a visual aspect of them moving. So really, you know, you're covering a situation where the logic in how players move on a field is kind of weird. Okay, so it's like I have game logic that says certain guys are faster, certain guys are slower. They have these stats and skills that determine if a tackle is successful or not, and it's a gamified. In other words, I'm not actually going to have guys running on the field that interact with each other. They're going to be gamified, which means they have values that are weighted against each other to make sure everybody comes out balanced. And the question is, how do I integrate that into a UI that allows me to have, like, say, whatever I'm using. If it's just a player, a card, anything, there's movement going on the field that has to coincide with how many yards you gain. Like if it says for a 3-yard gain. Well, see, a lot of games I've been seeing that don't use actual, they don't use actual stats on the field, but a lot of these games are trying to create real live physics and whatever, and you got players that move on a field, and so their game design on the actual interaction of the field is how players interact on the field. And this is, I think, kind of why some stuff breaks, because you're trying to duplicate reality with what's on the field. Now, yeah, you might make some guys move faster or slower or interact, but that just means if things aren't where they should be, things are gonna not flesh out correctly because there's some mismatch. Sometimes it looks like a guy tackles from 5 feet away instead of right on him, or there's some logic there that says, well, this guy's slower, but he should be able to be there by the logic of our stuff. And I think you just come up with a lot of weird things. So what I need to do is somehow create my gamified setup where it puts people in certain places and then tries to mimic that on the field. Come up with a way that says, okay, this player has to be there and this player has to be there. Set their timings to land it in the same spot. So that's because the game knows the end result of where people are going to go in an instant, right? It's going to know the entire play in advance. So then it's going to take that entire play information and go, okay, this happens, this happens, this happens. You're basically telling the UI, go render this. And it's not really happening in a lot of cases live. It's already kind of told you what's going to happen, with the exception of when a person has to play it. But that breaks everything anyway, because now you're actually there controlling stuff and things have to move according to that. So understanding that's going to be the trick for me. Getting stuff on the field and trying to have it render actions and things going on the field as they're happening in real time. So that's going to be a challenge for sure. But again, all this is going away. It's going to be based on real players. So the question I'm having at the moment is, why does my game plan not acknowledge that this is an async? Because I have async here, and we are returning data, but GamePlan still thinks that I'm not awaiting it. Await expressions are only allowed within async functions and at the top. Oh, really? And at the top levels of modules. Huh. I have to await it because I got to have that data before I can do anything. So we're going to go here and then it's kind of React's got some weirdnesses, right? Because certain things can be done in certain places and certain things cannot. You got to have the right kind of. Are you using a client? Oh, that's the problem. All right, so I am going to. I kind of knew I was going to use an effect to get it to render, a use effect, but I didn't know I had to do it outside or inside of the use effect. So my issue here is not that it's an await, but that it's an await that's not inside of a use effect. And that's weird. Copy and lined everything. It's like, why'd you do that? There we go. That is kind of. So the use effect is on the get game plan? Oh, it did not copy everything. So it created a function inside of itself, or what amounts to a function. It's not called a function, it's a constant, but it's a constant that's doing stuff. So it's going to just call it. All right. And how come it keeps only doing, I know I copied, you're getting on my nerves. Doggone it, copy, paste. You act like I have to select everything in order for you to know what I want. You know I needed the square brackets. Just put it in. Come on, make a little. Put your AI to work. All right. Write what I mean, not what I type. All right. Now, we are going to just call that based on that. I don't want this to click. It's got to run instantly. And I don't think I need to actually run that on click. In fact, they already took the click out, which is exactly what I want. So Mr. AI went ahead and took the click out. So we're going to have the response. We're going to write. This is just going to dump. I don't want it just to dump, but I do have to. So if I stringify this, I have my objects. Response null. Okay. I am going to have to go. Let's see. I need to start putting these in fields, essentially. So we're going to have situation. Well, actually, we're going to have a coach. I have a coach. Let's call it a coach card. Because that's what he is. He's the coach card. In fact, I'm going to have a player card and coach card, and all these things are going to have their cards. And their cards are going to have info and such to go along with it. And we're going to go like this. And that's just going to be that. And then we're going to have simulator, not simulator, situation planning, situation plan. And then I've got to load. You know what? That said, I think this whole calling of my code here is going to have to take place in the situation plan, because I want to, when you go to the coach or go to the coaching profile, you're going to have the coach and you're going to have the game situations, but they aren't connected. They're going to be two different pieces of info. So they're not going to come from the same source. They're separate components. A quick review. This is what I've done and what I'm doing for this, what I'll call the initial project. Let's see, we'll call this the beginning. Begin. No. I want to give it a name of some kind. The thing is, it's too big for the text. I wanted it to show up on the concept. We begin. We beg. I'll forget it. All right, October 31st to December 31st. That's roughly when I started coding this. Okay, so I said it was in late October, maybe early November. I just said, I'm going to do my own app. Okay, so this is going to happen. Bam, wham, slam, bam, jam. I'm doing it. So I started coding. I just decided I'm going to code this thing. So I started writing out a very basic mock of what I wanted the instance to be. And over the next several days, I kept implementing it, kept improving it, kept tweaking, and kind of getting just the React application working and the simulation working. Then I decided, okay, well, from that point, we need more. We need to start connecting other stuff. So I started planning the architecture of this thing. What do we do now? What is this going to be? It's going to be, well, first of all, I knew it was going to be mobile all along. So I had to start researching what I wanted on the mobile app, how I was going to implement. And I said, well, you know, what are these companies that have already gotten apps out that are working pretty well doing? You know, the good apps, you know, Marvel Snap, Raid Shadow Legends, and some of the other apps. I kind of started looking at what they were all doing and how their apps were configured, what was their technology stack. And I finally started shaping up how I wanted my technology stack to look, which looked like none of the technology that I was immediately familiar with, because my knowledge is in a bunch of stuff, full stack development, that just wasn't going to get used in this function or in this application. So I did it. I started knocking off things like these were the functionality and features I kind of started knocking off. Plan the technology stack. I think I pretty much had that completed just recently, just in the last few days. maybe even last week, when I finally decided what all of my component parts were going to be. Now, then I had to make sure everything was installed. So I installed the requirement development applications, Mongo, Docker, Visual Studio. And the one thing that I hadn't installed yet was Unity, which I just installed this morning. It's in progress, but I may be able to mark that off as checked. It's pretty much installed. NG Rock and Tailscale are more about my making this available to testing and outside public access. So those tools are going to allow me some tunneling / VPNing that'll allow me to expose the pieces of the app I need so that people can hit it as necessary, as I need them to and want them to be able to, as a result of backing my my project. Either through any means backing will get some amount of access to this app while it's running, and you're going to be able to use the tool or use the game in the web form, the Unity form, whatever it is, as those things become available. Through, like I said, it's for my my backers and those who support my project. Now I do have an Indiegogo right now, which you probably know. I have a video right there on my page, Active Mind Games Dev. You'll be able to go there and just watch the video, and there's a link to the Indiegogo on my page somewhere. I thought, oh, there it is. Yeah, it's there. So beyond that, I started working on the Go microservices. I kind of got the initial connection set up between that and the React app, which now I'm starting to format that so I can start putting that out to be more visually a thing, make it start looking like, hey, look, something's taking shape in this area. Then I need to start looking at getting other parts up and running, things that I need to get going, which are like the Docker developments for the CI/CD, so that when I check things in, it gets deployed, so that my pseudo production environment will be available. I got to complete the initial creation of the React GamePlan UI, which is what I'm working on, and saving whatever changes I make to that to in-memory storage right now, because I'm not using Mongo, but I need to start getting the Mongo connection and database set up as well. And then I got to start working on maybe getting some automated testing going, so that as things start to come online, I can start having the things I've already done tested so they're not breaking while I'm doing that stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at for now. Over the next couple of weeks, I think most of this will get going. I don't know how much of this will be completed, but I expect most of this will be in progress or done by the end of the month. Starting next month, I plan to, start looking at additional stuff, which is going to be a lot of expanding what those are. I got to start adding auth APIs so that I can start having accounts that people can use and log in and get their own instances of the simulation. I got to get an account page so they can set their own passwords and change the account as necessary. Then I have to start figuring out how to get my data into my database for my the player skills that I've already defined and how those functions are set up. I've decided Excel is part of my technology stack in my development technology stack, in that it's going to handle all of my formulas. I'm not going to move that stuff. I don't need the formulas during playtime anyway. I just need to pull the skills in, calculate all the formulas, and then import those characters or players into the system. So I'll have an import process that pulls all of the players into the system from whatever Excel sheet I happen to be storing them on. I just don't see I don't see how that's even needed in the application. The application doesn't care about the formulas that create and generate these player balances. Excel just excels at that. That's what it does, right? So the coaching game plan implementation, I'm going to start implementing that partially against the POC. So it's going to be able to start reading certain types of information and what kind of plays. Now it's going to only have like 2 or 3 plays. But it's easier to implement simply because as I inject plays, it's just the type of play that's getting injected, right? It's just going to be run, pass, whatever, because the offensive plays don't really care what play you call. It just wants to know if it's a run, a pass, or special teams, whatever. But there will be actual play IDs that I'm going to be passing through to it so it can read those play IDs, and I'll start generating that. I'm also going to pull a lot about that logic for the plays back into Go, which all the stuff has to be pulled into Go where it can act. Because I don't want the UI, the web UI is going to be about the dumbest UI. It's just going to render. It's going to take data, render, take data, render. It's not going to allow for a lot of anything short of updating the game plans or whatever. It'll be the same game plans that you'll be updating on your mobile app because you can update them on the web. But it's kind of like having partially a PC app going, but it's just the web stuff, and it's not going to be as full featured and cool as the web part or as the phone part. It's a lot of it's going to be only minimal functionality on the web versus what's on the mobile. And then I got to get the Mongo database fully, mostly fully hashed out. How the containers are going to be structured. What containers do I want for players, coaches, game plans? And one of the things I understand about NoSQL, which again, I'm not an expert in NoSQL yet. I'm expecting I'll be a lot more knowledgeable when this is all done. Is that you don't need things like map tables. You can just throw a lot of your stuff into a single container and you just pull it back. It's why it's more efficient than SQL type databases. I don't know, whatever their nomenclature is. Anyway, so I got to get the Mongo database fully hashed out for my basic objects. And then we will, that'll be kind of what the next 3 months will be about. And I expect I'll do more. But that's just like my initial period in there. But there are some things that they're going to take some time. I mean, it could be a month and a half, 2 even, before some of that stuff is fully working. But I think at that point, once I start having a connection to my Mongo database, and I'm able to start moving data between that and the services, and then I already have stuff working between my React and the services, that's the full thread. So now it's just a matter of starting to play logic. And logic development is going to take, a good chunk of time. As we take that data, we manipulate the data, and then we feed it out to the UI. At that point, I expect, hopefully, if not by the end of the next period, maybe sooner, because I want to start working on it, is start pulling in the Unity application. Start working on getting some basic stuff there going. Or maybe I can just get some real generic little piece that just does something going, even if it's the lamest of visuals, just to show that now I'm pulling in my data from the services. The other thing is, this is the trick with the Unity app. I don't know yet, because I have to have offline functionality, which means a lot of my stuff that my services are doing, the mobile app's going to have to do on its own. So I want to figure out how I can do that without doing too much recoding. I don't want to code things twice, if possible. So like a lot of the gateway stuff I won't need. The microservices stuff I don't need. That data is just going to be in the app. And it's just going to do its thing. And I got to have a database on the phone. So there's a little extra stuff. So the Unity stuff is going to be coming down the line. But I got to get the basic structures in place. So anyway, that is the plan. Today I'm only doing I mentioned I have to DoorDash because, money. But I am going to I'm only doing 2 hours today, so, which is a good thing because I don't want to do it. I don't want to do more than that on a Friday. I have to step away for a quick moment. I will be right back. I tell you sometimes, you know, Alexa, Alexa wants to start explaining stuff to you. If you say something and she misunderstands you, she says, you can do this and this and this, and she just goes off, and I'm like, stop, I don't want to, I don't care. You're replying to the wrong thing. Stop talking. But she gets going, and she won't stop because she can't hear you when she's talking. It's like, nah. I'm sort of yelling at her. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Okay. Why is my phone off? All right, so let's, anyway, that's the roadmap plan for this moment. And let's go back here. As I start rerouting my brain and go, hey, I don't think I want to do it that way. Let's go one more step in. I'm going to sub-process this because I want to, this is probably not even a good way to lay this out because I probably don't want it that way. But that's the whole reason why I'm doing it that way. Let's go ahead and add a new file here. And we're going to call it coach card. Why does it default to that? And then we're going to have another one called situation plan. Situation plan? I think that's what I called it. .jsx. Okay, so now on this one, this is where I actually want to do the generic code for the layout here. So we got GamePlan. Oh, you know what? I may be overthinking this. Okay, so let's. I probably don't need this the situation plan. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. And then the coach card, which doesn't exist yet, is actually going to go up here on the page. So we got the coach card, which is going to go underneath, over the game plan. So we have the coach card, which really is just going to be we're going to call this import coach card from dot coach card. And then we're going to go over my coach card, which is going to be my layout for the coach. And now we'll just do something like, I don't know, div. Now, how do you, what's the general format of a div table? I'm going to try and do this without using a Alright, so we're going to put, this is my coach card, don't need any of this now. Let's try to lay this out a little bit. So we're going to go class equals table. There we go. Div. Class equals cell table. Oh, we got a row header. Oh, oh. A row header. We don't need any of this. Then we got div. Class equals cell. Oh, okay. All right, so what do I want? So in the first cell, this is a coach name. I've never created a div table, by the way. I always use regular tables, so this is a little bit tricky for me here. Doing this for the first time. Okay, so this one's going to also have to draw back data. So do I need to have a title on it? I don't think I need a title. Why would I need a title? Interestingly enough, I don't have a dummy coach data, so I don't have any kind of way to pull this yet. But I do have to. I'll have to do something like constant coach coach name equals, we'll just call it Tony. Let's see. We will call him Tony Apsane. And we will put this here. And that's probably all I want for this for now. I don't even know how to span cells. So the next thing here would be div class actually this will probably be another row. See, I'm drawing a picture in my head, and you're probably like, I don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, neither do I. Class. All right. I could kind of see how, oh, I see. You're not really spanning because you're really just putting divs together. They're not true cells and rows and columns. You're just aligning divs, which is interesting. Okay, so if that's a class table and then I have a row header, so really I could put this value here. Coach name. No, nope, I can't. Never mind. This is drawing a table in your head is really kind of a pain because it's not just put a cell here and put a cell there. It's kind of put a cell here and it's gonna have to be tall and it's okay. Div class equals row header, which, by the way, is that even allowed? Yeah, I guess so. Okay. And then we're going to go like that. And then we're going to put that down here. We'll go div class equals cell. And we're going to say coach's photo. And then we're going to go div class equals cell. And I don't even know what my first stat is. I did write out how I want what I wanted on the coach's card, but I can't remember what it is. First coach bit. Close enough. I just wanted it to have something, so if I click it, so when I click it, it's there. So really, that's all that matters. I didn't really want any of this other. I didn't want it connected to anything else. I just didn't want it to be like empty or an invalid piece of stuff. So okay, so now we can call that saved. Now we're going to go ahead and go over to the game plan. What time is it? Time? Okay, I got a little bit of time. Little bit of time left. We are now on to my game plan data, which is what I was doing here. Oh, that's the data. No, game plan is right here. So we get it, we fetch it, we get the situation, which I don't need here, which is fine because this is going to handle all of it. We're going to fetch everything. I don't need this. Oh, do I need the header though? I probably do want the header. Yeah, let's go ahead and game situation planning. And so here is where we start reading out the bits and bobs of our JSON. Not quite what I wanted. I have a JSON response I want to load into an object that I can read fields from. I need to know how to create an object. So I don't have to parse the raw JSON data. Well, it doesn't quite understand what I'm saying, or maybe I can't do what I'm trying to do. Well, I guess if I know what my fields are, I can. That's a thing, I suppose. Constant email game plan. Now you can access the data directly from user data object. So we have my user equals user data constant blah equals user blah equals user. Okay. So we got the game plan. I'm not sure that's exactly what I want either. I'm getting hungry, man. Why do I always get hungry when I work out less? I mean, I worked out for an hour, but I wasn't like a really super hard workout. Some days I can go like the whole morning and part of the afternoon without actually eating any food. I mean, I did drink this, but it's still kind of weird. But if I don't eat and then I go try and do DoorDash, I'm going to be hungry the whole time. I'm going to be like, that smells good. That smells good too. I should stop at the next place and get some of that. Trying to think when I had my pre-workout. That's got a lot of caffeine in it. And Fridays I tend to caffeinate a little bit more because I stay up late. Because I need to stay up late, or I don't sleep late enough on Saturday, and I end up getting up too early. All right, I got my response. And then what is I have to admit, my Marvel Snap has been slipping lately. I had been pretty consistent for a long time. I don't think I had, up until a couple weeks ago even, missed 2 days in a row. But this game is taking up a lot of my time. Plus, I play other games. I've been playing this game called Retro Football because I'm really into football. I've always liked football a ton. Okay, I hadn't played in years on a video game because there weren't any good ones. But recently I go, I haven't checked in a while. So I got caught up in it, and that's how I ended up making this game, because they all sucked. But I hadn't tried one yet, and my daughter recommended it because her boyfriend was trying it. And I thought, well, all right, let's give it a go. Let's see what it is. It's kind of cool, but I'm seeing its limitations already. I think I'm seeing the limitations. It's one of those things I haven't reached to that point yet, but I feel like you can see the end of the game. And it doesn't feel like once you reach that end point, yes, you can kind of replay stuff. It's kind of like there is an ending to this game, because the game itself is the progression of the character. It's not the game of football, all right? Because you're playing a coach. And yeah, there's some parts where you get to control some of the football, but it's not overly set. I mean, it's kind of fun. There's a little tension, a little stress. It's trying to, because lately I've been prone to interceptions. I have a better quarterback, but still, you're still controlling that guy. Now you could sim, but honestly, I think I feel like if I sim, I'd be even worse, because human control is always better in almost every case in those kind of games. And I feel like I don't know if I want to hand it over to the computer, especially since my team rating wise is way worse than the other teams. So I feel like the computer simming it would be worse. But there's not a lot of game there outside. I mean, a lot of it's about how you build up that team. And once you've kind of built it up, there's not a game. See, like this game is going to have a game no matter what. You can always play. Is always going to be able to play, because you could just take your team and play against someone else, and there's still going to be strategy. You still have to coach. It's kind of like if your players, you're like you were a coach where the players never age, right? So you could just play with the same team, and it's not going to come out the same. But a lot of it's going to be how well you coach and how good your strategies are and how well you play. Much like. And this is why you want to almost do the simming. You can watch the games if you want to, but it's like, do you want to play a 3-hour game constantly? No. I mean, well, it's not 3 hours. I think it's probably, you could probably get done in half an hour, but because you're picking your plays and the time goes according to, hike, snap, go, kind of thing. It runs the play. You just decide how fast you want to go through it. So how much feedback, how much you want the game to give you more, how much detail do you want back? You could just create your game plan to the absolute precision you want, and then you're going to get feedback on every situation, because the game's going to say, okay, well, you ran these plays with these things, and this is what happened. So you could just sim the game instantly and not watch the game and then come back and read the game summary, or not even the summary, the game log, and go, oh, wow, that play really crapped out. I need to adjust, tweak that. You're basically watching the game film. I might even call it that. Post game film review. And then you go in there, and this is where you'll see these plays we ran didn't do well. These plays we ran, they did great against those defenses, but when this defense happened, it was whatever. So you're going to have a lot of feedback, and you got to decide to what extent you care. Then you create your plays, because you're basically pre-planning your entire game, which means you could actually look at other teams and kind of go, well, they run from this formation a lot. See, I want to be able to give you back feedback on the other teams for your scouting, but I don't want to give you everything. In other words, you can kind of tell what they do, but I have to figure out how to summarize what I'm giving you, because telling you the exact plays they ran seems kind of like, well, I know their exact game plan. Excuse me, you shouldn't know their exact game plan. You should be able to tell by looking at a team. Like if you were watching a team, my time's up. If if you were watching a team plan their output in a game, it's one thing to know what their plays are. It's a whole nother thing to know what they did on the play. It's like, oh, okay, so they had these guys kind of run these routes. So it's kind of like you want to know how your defense does against a pass play out of this formation or a run play out of that formation, because this is what they're doing. You know, maybe they're throwing screen passes. How does your team form against screen passes? You know, you can kind of tell the type of things that are happening without knowing the exact play they called, because that's not really the relevant point. And you shouldn't be able to plan against a specific play. So I don't want to give people that, like, this is the play they ran, and then you go, okay, well, let's see what plays work best against that play. Well, that's not good. You find a good working play. So yeah, if you scout them out really good and you know exactly the play they called, and you go find the best play during your little practice sessions what works against that, yeah, well, you know, that's good, but that's like knowing their playbook. That's illegal, right? You get fined by the NFL for doing that. I am going to set my I'm setting my Dasher going, my Dash app, and pretty much I sign off the second I get my first dash that I want to take. And I say I want to take because I'm actually close to a pretty busy spot. I'm only like a mile away. So it's not unreasonable that I could just wait here and then go, because they know where I'm at. And as long as I accept and immediately leave, I'm on my way. So I am now in the mode of I could leave and sign off at any moment. Now, I also do Uber Eats, but I accept like 1 out of every 6 of those at best, because they are terrible paying. They have a lot of long ones, like, hey, go 26 miles and we'll pay you $10. Oh, go 18 miles and we'll pay you $7. It was like, I'm not going out for 40 cents a mile and driving for an hour. Forget that nonsense. They have a lot of that. And I have a $1.50 minimum rule, so I almost never get a long one, because even on any of them, if you've got a 15 or 20 mile drive, it's almost never $1.50 a mile. So you're better off. For me, I feel like it's better just to take a bunch of small ones, because I'm getting $1.50 a mile and I don't have to go very far. So why would I do that? Why would I do others? Now, the only time is I like it to be at least $4, because, well, you know, there becomes a diminishing returns when it gets too small. So if it's like, yeah, if it's the $3 one, and, you know, yeah, it's $1.50 an hour, I gotta go 2 miles. It just seems like it's a waste. I don't know. It feels like it's a silly amount of distance. Anyway, I'm jabbering about something that's irrelevant. Let's see if I can get any more typing done before actually call this. Let's see. Let's actually go Control X. We're going to put this up here because I don't need to call it a PFFM gateway test, because I'm done testing. I know it works. I've got that part. And then at the end of this, before the return, we want to constant. We'll call this GamePlan? Sure, we'll call it GamePlan. GamePlan response. Response. I am just trying to, oh, okay. I'm trying to map out here what my, I'm looking at my object, my JSON response object, and I'm trying to determine how I want to lay that out here so that I can read it into my output. This could be an issue. Because if I have play types identified, well, play type doesn't mean anything. So I would have to load up all the play types. Oh. I guess I'm on. Time to go. Till this afternoon, which won't be long, a couple hours.